welcome back to another Jagged Edge. This is Ian here, along with Chris. A very angry Chris.
I'm what you were saying before, chomping at the bit. I chopped through that bit.
You chomped.
I'm ready.
You remind me of you remember when Buffy the Vampire Slayer was still on, and then went to syndication. It always had that little ending thing. I forget who produced it, but it was for that production company, and they just had.
Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, the
Josh Whedon still, or the Whedons, I should say, still use that.
Crazy.
Yeah. Well, now I can't remember what it actually says.
Yeah. Wow. No, you just reminded me of that like crazy. No. Welcome one, welcome all. With films, games, all that good stuff. As always, you might have noticed we've been off just a little bit recently, but that doesn't mean we're skipping a beat. Things have been pretty busy. I'm just getting back from Chicago.
All his fault.
Yeah, it is. I'll take it. I'll gladly take that. Just getting back from Chicago, fresh off of the Combo Breaker Trail. Plenty of stuff happened there. Lots of fun. Great tournament. A little bit of a letdown with one little piece of news I was hoping for. I'll get into that a little later.
One little piece of huge, giant news. That was such news that it didn't happen. It was huge news. That's all. Grab the popcorn, everybody.
Oh,
I'm gonna. So this is gonna be interesting because I'm trying not to throw f-bombs on the Jagged Edge anymore. But we're gonna see if I can get through this episode without it because I got lots to talk about.
If you can make it through this episode without doing that, I should give you a cookie. Or send you a cookie.
That's right.
Wait,
lots.
Are you
lots of fields?
Are you a chocolate chip guy?
Yeah.
Just so I know. Okay, noted.
Or chocolate chip. My favorite's actually the soft M&M cookie. Because the hard ones, they're okay with some milk sometimes. Sometimes they're just too hard. Or you can't beat a good peanut butter cookie.
This is true. Amen. My ranking order would probably go macadamia nut, or you can do macadamia nut, white chocolate, whatever. Peanut butter second. Love peanut butter. And you know what? I've only had the hard M&M. I've never done the soft M&M.
Oh, the soft cookies with the M&Ms? Oh, those are the best.
Yeah, man. I'll remember that next time I go to Cookie Factory. But that is neither here nor there.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I was saying that is neither here nor there.
Well, it's definitely there. There used to be this really awesome corner store in the mall in this area. That's what they did. They did cookies. That's all they did, and it's long gone now, along with most of the mall. But because malls,
yeah,
malls are malls right now. But no, that place is great. I would always find reasons to go to the mall. Say, well, since I'm here.
May as well.
They do 2 cookies, get 1 free.
Ah, man.
3 cookies.
Good time. The one I had by me, the closest to me when I was living in Illinois, same deal. And they had a station right up front. You'd walk in, boom, cookies. You'd have to have them.
Back in the day when the mall had the movie theater.
Back in the day, movie theater and arcade.
Yeah, arcades. We've talked about arcades.
Oh man, I'll get into that a bit later too.
Talking about disappointing things that didn't show up or are gone. We'll get into the rest of your good Combo Breaker news. Let's separate this because I don't think your positive news from Combo Breaker should be influenced by the fact that Mortal Kombat 11 did not premiere in any form at Combo Breaker.
No, it did not. Now this is the 800-pound gorilla in the room, people.
Oh, there's one of them. There's a few in this episode.
You may have heard, if you've been checking out the grapevine or even listening around to us squawk about it, Ed Boon has been lurking in the depths of Twitter. And
he's one of the biggest trolls out there.
Oh, he is. Making cool with the K talk and everything else. And the biggest rumor, the biggest note that there's going to be some news on the new Mortal Kombat potentially at Combo Breaker. Now, this is not going by official announcement. There was never any official trail, but with coming into E3, coming into the last big fighting game events of the year, I mean, this is ripe. Absolutely ripe time to do so. And then on the top of the fact that Ed Boon was there. So I think what really put salt in this one was Tekken's Harada. Harada-san was there, and he even talked about the upcoming DLC. You had people from Capcom Cup there. Ono himself wasn't there, not Comic Breaker. He's probably going to wait until Evo to show up.
From Capcom, as in the Marvel plus Capcom. No, I would suspect he would not be there.
No. Ono usually, I wouldn't be surprised if he shows up at a couple big events. He's Street Fighter specifically.
Okay, I was going to say whoever was behind Marvel versus Capcom 4 is probably not making appearances right now.
No.
But
No.
you're trailing off a little bit here because I really want to leave the combo breaker stuff out of this.
Sure.
Here's the thing. I mean, obviously, a title as big as Mortal Kombat with the following and everything. I mean, they would have had to have said months ago, look, we're not going to be announcing anything during this time.
Yeah.
Just to be fair to their fans, especially because they've been pointing at, for years now, well, look, first we did Mortal Kombat 9, then we did Injustice, then we did Mortal Kombat 10, and then we did Injustice 2, and what's going to happen after that? Well, we're just saying, look, here's the pattern. So I had actually thought it was, since it didn't show up at Combo Breaker, it was going to be this last Saturday. Because there was a lot of things pointing to June 2nd, which then didn't happen either.
Nope.
My guess now is that something's going to be dropped during the E3 pre-E3 days.
Yeah.
And then something big is going to happen at E3. That's my prediction now. But yeah, it was very frustrating. I want to see. I want to know. Mortal Kombat.
Oh man, it aches, especially with having such an Injustice following gathered there at Combo Breaker. I mean, what an awesome time would have been to do that. But yeah, that was the only real letdown with that. I'll have to lump that into on my radar with the E3 review for next week. Next week, man, it's right in
it's coming,
trail.
Right around the corner.
Love it.
So I mean, it's interesting because, I mean, 10 years ago, people were writing the obituary for fighting games.
Yeah, they were.
And now they are once again the biggest thing going. And I think that is in large part, the majority, not solely, but majority due to NetherRealm Studios and Mortal Kombat 9. And I mean, there's a lot of great fighting games. We've definitely been talking about Soul Calibur 6 more than any other, I think.
Oh, yeah.
Except for when I decided that I'm going to go on a bout on trashy Tekken. But, which is still well deserved. I don't care what you say.
This says the guy who doesn't even play current Tekken. I'm not hearing it.
I don't need to play current Tekken.
All right.
I played Tekken for years, and from the looks of it, I don't need to play it anymore because it looks and feels exactly the same.
Okay.
What can I say? Tekken peaked 20 years ago.
Best is yet to come. Fine wine.
But Mortal Kombat obviously is a juggernaut in the gaming industry. In entertainment.
Yeah.
It still holds the title as the best video game adaptation for a movie. That being said, the second one was complete shit. But that's all right. It still holds that title. I'm eagerly awaiting because I love how they do Mortal Kombat and Injustice, and they take bits from each one and they put them in the other, but not all of it. And I love watching how they evolve, how NetherRealm evolves their games from the last one. I'm very eager. Obviously, for me being a huge MK story fan, what direction they're going to go in here. There's so many different directions they can go in.
Right.
And this is something that we've had slated that I was, for months I've been trying, because I'm going to be covering the evolution of this game up until its release. Which is going to be at least a year and a half or so, I think. Maybe just a year, but you're looking at a year and a half. But there's just, I've hit the drafting board several times on this, and it's just like because I don't want to do too much speculation. I can't stand when people put up posts and updates about a game, and it's just nothing but speculation and hearsay and stuff. So there's just so much that we don't know about what direction they're going in. So I've been waiting until they announce something, and it's like, come on, announce it already. Jeez, I've gone
Yeah.
through so many bits, dude. Chopped through so many bits.
In fact, I was trying to hold out hope against hope. You texted me.
Yeah, I trolled you.
Yeah, you did.
You were that combo breaker. I'm like, where's my Mortal Kombat?
Where's my MK? I'm like, no, wait for it. Like, still, there's still a chance, and then didn't get it.
Where's my Soul Calibur sword, by the way? Waiting on that one.
Nightmares.
Was it there again? Was it at combo breaker?
It was Soul Calibur was there, but the sword wasn't.
Oh, someone else got it.
And I'll tell you what, here's the one weird thing. I'm just gonna mention this really quick. Soul Calibur was the one thing this weekend that was this past weekend that was exclusively on Xbox. And
they did that at the last thing too.
Yeah, they did, and it weirded me out. Bear in mind, this is an environment where everything is being played on PS4. So these events, FGC events, are BYOC, bring your own controller. So everybody's tooled out with all their PS4 gear, and gotcha, Xbox. So yeah,
I want my tale of Soul and Swords.
Amen to that.
Did they give a release date for that yet, or are they waiting until E3?
They're gonna wait till E3. I didn't see a release date yet, but they had a station up. It was getting tons of attention.
By the way, did you see that Spider-Man got pushed back to December?
I did.
Ugh.
That does suck, but I'm so excited about that game, and it looks good. Hey, do your thing. If you're gonna push that back a bit, so
I
be
guess.
it. So
I guess. Yeah. No, you're right.
yeah, it can come out alongside Kingdom Hearts 3. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except for it'll be a good game. Which one? Okay, so all right, I'm gonna judge you right now.
All
right. Which one do you play first? If you got them both at the same time, Spider-Man or Kingdom Hearts 3?
Oh, don't do this to me.
I did it. It's there. It's
don't
done.
Don't do this to me. Here,
scenario dropped.
Here's why I'd do Spider-Man first. If I had both of them sitting there, I feel I could jump into Spider-Man a little faster and get a little more engaged with it without as much upfront commitments as I need with KH. Now I'm gonna take you all the way back to when I first played Kingdom Hearts 2, and I didn't know what the flip was going on, because they were apparently, since I didn't play whatever game on Nintendo, was it DS or Switch, whatever it was, Switch wasn't out then. What am I talking about? Because I didn't play whatever game was out on Nintendo Portable, I didn't know what was happening to the plot, so I had to back up and read all that and do that. That shouldn't happen to me this time. I got an idea of what's happening, but still, that's a lot of swimming I'd have to do up front, rather than just go in and start web swinging and just whacking bad guys. That's just awesome.
Yeah.
So
yes,
Spider-Man.
And so I think we've mentioned it before, but we will be doing daily, if not multiple times a day, coverage for E3.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be a big one for us. So yeah,
tune in.
All right. So Mortal Kombat, though, come on, you're killing me. You're killing me with this.
Yeah,
nuts.
It's rough.
See it. It is. Dude, I remember the trailer drop for MK9. Do you remember this?
Yeah.
It came out of nowhere. And the thing with, you had Raiden and then you had Shao Kahn, and it was so awesome. But I mean, then the trailer for MK10, that fighting trailer with Scorpion and Sub-Zero.
Right.
That was so badass. Oh my god. What are they gonna do? Are they just gonna bring some cosplay Mortal Kombat players into my living room and just have a fight? I mean, what do they do?
You mentioned that. You're taking me back years ago to the release of Street Fighter Cross Tekken. They did that on stage. It was weird, but I'm sure Mortal Kombat would be more exciting.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait. Okay, but I have to wait. So, all right, we got that one done. We'll talk about Combo Breaker later, and away from my frustration from Mortal Kombat. I wanted to get that out of there.
No,
so we're gonna go back to some movie stuff. Little movie called Solo came out here in the last couple of weeks. So I want to lay down a scenario for you.
Here we go.
All right, I just want to lay down a scenario. Okay, now I did a review on this. Jason and I reviewed it.
Yep.
I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
All right, it was solid. It was a solid movie. Um, unless you're living under a rock, this movie bombed. This is the first Star Wars flop
Yep.
officially, and it's a big time one too.
Yeah.
Um, so let me just throw down a handful of names, okay,
Hit it.
for the movies: Han Solo, Chewbacca. The first time we see Lando Calrissian in a movie in almost 40 years, going on 40 years. The first time we see, by the way, spoilers, you've been warned. 3, 2, 1. The first time we see Darth Maul
Yes.
in almost 20 years in a movie. Okay. Another prequel set between episodes 3 and 4, which seems to be a really fun time, which I agree.
Yep.
Put those scenarios together. That movie bombs. The movie with all of that bombs. The movie
Ouch.
with Lando Calrissian almost 40 years. The movie with Darth Maul, with Han Solo and Chewbacca. And let's just, Chewbacca is always Chewbacca, and that's fine, that's great. Han Solo, which is arguably, some people still believe that Han Solo is the hero of the original trilogy. Which, I mean, he is obviously a hero of the original trilogy, but it's clearly Luke Skywalker.
Right.
But you have people who will make that argument. This movie bombed. So here it is. Let me give you some numbers. The premiere weekend of Solo, if you count the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, made $84.4 million. And if you add Memorial Day, it made $103 million. This was shy of Disney's estimated $170 million that they thought it was going to bring in as opening.
And I mean, that was a humble estimate on their part, wasn't it?
It was. It dropped 65% this last weekend and only made $29 million.
Oh.
It came in, I think, number 3. I think Deadpool 2, if I remember correctly, beat it.
That's brutal.
All right, so let me just say this. Now, the only reason I saw this movie was because we agreed that we were going to review it. Otherwise, I remember talking about that back in January. Otherwise, I was not going to see it.
Yeah.
If there was any question about the power of the fans and how pissed off they are about The Last Jedi and what Kathleen Kennedy and Rian Johnson did, there should be no question at this point.
No.
This is, I get, and I can appreciate that they're trying to build a different, no, I don't want to say different. Well, some people would say different. I will say a newer generation, a newer fan base. Some people would clearly say a different fan base. Maybe that is true. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt on that. I really don't think that they're all hating over there. Although I will say, for some reason, Lucasfilm has some kind of agenda where they've openly come on and say they're trying to end the whole Skywalker thing. Well, we'll get into that maybe another time. That's a whole nother thing.
That's a bag of worms. Yeah.
But yeah, the movie with Han Solo, Chewbacca, Lando, and Darth Maul combined has not even made the first week estimate. Combined. And that, I'm going to exclude Memorial Day because I don't really think you should count that. I think it's important to have that number because it was a long weekend. But 84 million plus 29, you're at, what is that, 111? No, 113.
Yeah.
I mean, not to mention, Last Jedi made solid numbers.
Right.
Although it was still a couple $100 million than the other movie should have been, a couple $100 million than Force Awakens.
Mm-hmm.
The store or the toys, no one's buying these things. DVD sales for The Last Jedi were actually pretty solid. There was actually, you couldn't really indicate one thing one way or the other.
Right.
I was surprised with them. Actually, the DVD sales were actually higher than I thought they were going to be. But, I mean, here it is. And the Star Wars fans took a stand right here. They took a stand with Solo. They've been telegraphing this for months.
Yep.
They will not see this movie. And,
there you have
here it is.
There you
And
have it.
it'll be worse for episode 9. Not only that, remember when we were talking about this, and she said, I don't remember what studio. I think it's Sony. I could be wrong on that. And they're going to have Jumanji 3 come out
Yeah.
the same day. I bet you not only will they not go see episode 3, they will go see Jumanji. They'll stick to them. And not only not go see episode 9, they will go see Jumanji instead.
Oh, I remember we were talking about that, how they purposely slotted that release out. It's just, fishing for the Star Wars fans that would be there, but of course will not be going due to The Last Jedi. And I think they're going to get a kick. I think they're going to get a boost.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No, it's... Look... I've been watching this very closely, multiple times a day, trying to see what kind of updates we're getting on this. I would be shocked in a way that I've not been shocked about many things when it comes to this industry and what we're talking about. If Rian Johnson, this time a year from now, still has his trilogy. They are. I mean, it's one thing to speculate, and it's one thing to talk about how upset fans are. I mean, you have now in the way that the movie industry reads in no other fashion. They take it no less serious. Nothing takes any more of a precedent than the bottom line. And the bottom line for your first flop. They're trying to say, oh, it's fatigue. No. And they initially they were trying to say that, but everyone's pushing it. It's not fatigue. You're being boycotted. Your product is being boycotted.
The Star Wars fan base, and this is something that I've known, even being someone who just is more of an outside fan of Star Wars. I cannot claim to be a hardcore or invested Star Wars fan in any way, but I'll check out films, the mainline one. But Star Wars is always that title you can count on having a solid turnout. This is always something that's had a very credible fan base to it, and that have always supported it, from the ground up, even when things shifted directly out of Lucas's hands. So
right. You could have had a box of the turd in it on that screen for 90 minutes, and it would have brought in $150 million in opening weekend.
Oh.
Well, maybe it would have to be George Lucas's turd, but no, you know what I mean, though.
I know what you mean.
I'm somewhat serious about that. It probably would have.
Oh.
You could in all seriousness, you could have had a movie where an Ewok is just like rummaging through the forest for 2 hours.
Yeah.
And that would have brought in $150 million.
Or a Tusken Raider picking stuff off, or a Jawa, yelling "teeny"
right.
30 times.
Right.
Yep. That all would have worked.
But because you pissed off the fan base, Han Solo, Lando, and Darth Maul can't bring in the numbers.
Rough.
Darth Maul.
Yeah.
I mean, he's a huge hardcore. He's got a huge hardcore fan base. He's one of the biggest characters for the extended canon. All the cool stuff we've seen from him over the years in the Clone Wars and Rebels, and oh my God,
yeah.
They said no thank you to Darth Maul. And I get it because I take their side on this. I try to be objective, but I'm with them on this because they shat all over everything. I don't take such a hard stance in the social justice warrior garbage.
Right.
Like, I understand that there are some minor themes in this show that have been in especially episode 8, some in episode 7. I see the parallels in some of the themes that they're going with, but they're minor. They're not basing these movies on these things, and even people were pissed off about L3 from Solo. It's really, there's no problem with this droid. It's fine,
right?
And I'm not going that far with it, but really you've alienated your fan base. And I do believe that there are people who are trying to take this franchise in a direction that a lot of people just aren't interested in seeing it. They are injecting a bit too much of common political themes into it that people just don't want to
Yeah.
touch. And it's, it's just like, it's like they think that they got this self-propelling machine that will give them a platform to do whatever they want. No,
Mm-mm.
no, 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 no. I'm 40, which I don't think I've ever dropped my official age on the show before. But I grew up with this, and again, I've talked about it before. My first movie I ever saw in the theater was Return of the Jedi in its original release in '83. This has never been a self-propelling machine. This has been an unstoppable machine for one reason only: the fans.
Yep.
And it's, now you're seeing.
So about the turnabout. If you can have a turnabout at this point, what would do it? What do you think would do it for fans?
Well, we've talked about that a couple times. I've said a couple things in the shows in the past, but what they need to do, there's a couple things. And I don't necessarily think you need Kathleen Kennedy's head, although I understand why a lot of people say that. But she worked with George Lucas for so long that I think she knows better. I think she's gotten a little out of touch with things, but she knows her Star Wars.
Yep.
So I don't know if you necessarily need to just get her out of there. Rian Johnson needs to go.
Yeah.
He needs that needs to happen for so many reasons. All right. Rian Johnson needs to go, and the teaser for episode 9, which they need to release as early as possible. I'm talking like we need to see that thing in January, in December or January, something. And it needs, like I said to you when we were talking about this before, it needs to show Luke Skywalker, and he needs to light up his green lightsaber, and they need to do that in every way possible that says he's not dead. Check him out. There he is.
There you go.
That being said, episode 9 in of itself, this needs to be Godfather in length. Okay, they need a lot of time and a lot of effort to correct a lot of things. And it needs to be massive in scope. It needs to correct some of the issues from episode 7, mostly from episode 8. But then it needs to tell its own story and wrap up this very disassembled trilogy at the same time.
Yeah. Yeah.
It needs to do a lot. It has a lot of heavy lifting to do, and it doesn't have a lot of time to do it. This thing is supposed to be out in a year and a half.
Ugh. Work's cut out. But regarding Luke, just from my standpoint, I would love that in the trailer, if we, or the sneak peek, if we just have a really early confirmation that that's going to get undone. Here's what's up.
Because it says so much. It says a lot of things right at face value, but it says a lot more to fans at the same time. It says, at least it says we understand that we've made some errors. At the same time, it says, look, there's Luke.
Yep.
There's Luke with his green lightsaber. It says, it says it will just say a lot.
Yeah.
And I think if they do those things, they will be able to bring back 95% of their fan base. There are still going to be those that will say no just because it's Disney.
Yeah.
There are those that are just that disgruntled about it, which I'm taking the stance with Rian Johnson. I will not see anything of his ever again, let alone a Star Wars movie. No, he's done. He's done. His career's over. That's not. I've been saying that for months, though. His career's over. I mean, it's, and there's so many lessons that Lucasfilm needs to take from this. And I won't say Disney, because Disney, from my understanding, is getting it now. Like they're listening to people, and they're taking the stance of, look, we know we've made some mistakes here. Talk to us. Tell us what's going on. There's going to be changes.
Right.
So whether or not they make all the right changes, that remains to be seen. Dave Filoni's in there, though, and he's been the guy who's been doing the Clone Wars and Rebels. We've talked about that. I mean, the guy, you wouldn't call him George Lucas's Padawan when I commented about that in the notes, but
No,
I commented to him.
no.
But he really was. He really was. Like he was his understudy, not just for telling stories, but also for telling Star Wars stories. I think they need to lean on him right now, and
Cool.
and fix a lot of this stuff. Yeah, it's gonna be worse. Episode 9 will be worse if they do nothing. Episode 9 will be even worse. I mean, and ultimately, if they just continue to go down this route, they will destroy it. The fan base will be happy to say, if you're going to do this to Star Wars, then we're going to end it.
That's so hard to fathom. That we're talking about that as a possibility.
You know, it's nuts, dude. It's nuts. Half a year ago, if you would have told me these are conversations we're having about this, I would have said, no, that's not real. I would have been like, Luke, that's impossible.
That's not true.
Then I would have just dropped off that thing.
Well,
But here we are, and we've had half a year for the fan base. We've had half a year to realize what's going on here.
yeah.
And so, it's because, I mean, ultimately, at the end of the day, this all circles around money. So, and Disney knows this very well. Disney knows this very, very well, and they won't let this happen for much longer.
No.
But I mean, you gotta look. There's been 4 films, and the first 2 did really well.
Yep.
For the big fans, the big Star Wars fans, Rogue One stands out as the best, and it was a good movie. Battle of Scarif is awesome. Force Awakens was fine, depending who you talk to. It really does range. Some people hated it. I'm definitely in the camp of, look, you had a nearly impossible task of reviving this franchise.
Yep.
And while you definitely stuck too close to the playbook for Episode 4, you did a good movie here, and so you successfully brought back this franchise.
Yep.
That was laid to rest to where it was, where we were going to get some cartoons and we were going to get this and we were going to get that, but the movies were done.
Yep.
And then, but look at the last 2.
Yeah.
And, and Disney sank over $4 billion buying this off of George Lucas.
With the B.
Right. And there's so much more here. And we're spending a lot of time on this, obviously, but it deserves it. This is the biggest movie and entertainment franchise ever.
Yeah.
All right. The toys are in the tanker, and in large part is responsible for Toys R Us sinking.
It's rough, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, which is partially their fault too, because they're like, "Hey, all right, Star Wars movies are coming back, toys, toys, toys," and it's like, no, not so much. Which, by the way, just real quick on Toys R Us, I went there the other day. Yeah, I was not expecting to find video games half off as well.
Whoa, no joke.
Yeah, you should probably check that out,
dude. What consoles like PS4?
Yeah, latest stuff,
dude. That's yeah.
I figured there was some kind of sellback to the distributors or whatever for something like the video games, because they normally can't mess around with the prices on those. They normally are what they are. But yeah, they're like half off. I almost bought Overwatch for $30.
That's some irony there. Is we talked about before. Toys R Us was that spot you always went in that. To my memory, at least, had a decent selection, but they were always a little overpriced. Yeah. with their games and stuff. But man, yeah, if I was looking
overpriced now.
No, it's not.
I might be coming out of there. They're down to 60% now. I might be coming out of there with some Legos here in the next week.
There you go.
I haven't bought any Legos, and shit, it's been so long since I had Legos that I'm sorry, or for the people who get upset about it, Lego. I'm calling it Legos, whatever.
People actually get upset about that.
Wow. Some people do. They're like, it's Lego.
Wow.
Legos. Yeah, it's been so long. Maybe as 10 or 11 since I last bought Legos. They don't do Legos Knights anymore, dude.
Oh, that sucks.
Those are the best ones, the Lego Knights.
I always thought Lego Knights were cool. The one that I think I spent the most time building, I used to love the sci-fi stuff. All that. I used to like see when I was in elementary school, I think it was the Explorians was the big thing.
The space stuff was always fun.
Yeah. That's what I always loved.
No, but all right. So I don't. Yeah, I don't know. The what I'm hearing is that Disney's getting that this needs to change.
Yeah.
I mean, really, let's take it back again. Expected 170 million. You got 84.4. Your play, Disney. Your move. All right, that's the end of that. Let us know what you guys think, though, about the whole thing with Star Wars and all that. Again, I rated Solo 8 out of 10. It was fun.
It was. It was.
A fun movie.
I thought it was as well. I actually managed to swing by and catch this one while I was gone. I joined on a family vacation. My dad is a big Marvel fan, and he had not seen Infinity War, and he had not seen Solo. So I said, you know what, let's make a day out of it. We hit Solo, and then we hit Infinity War.
Which one do you like more?
Oh, I think it's
I know,
obvious.
but I want to hear it.
Infinity War.
Of course it was.
And even cooler getting to see that, for a second time. I kept saying I was going to take my second trip, but I officially got to do it. So
it's so good.
Yeah, just ridiculously good.
It's so good. I saw something in the headlines. I didn't even think it was worthy of bringing up, but it's pushing $2 billion.
Wow. Well, it deserves it.
It's gonna be around all summer, so that's why people aren't reporting numbers on it right now, because it's gonna be sitting there for a while. Black Panther was in the theater until like the week before Infinity War.
I was just hanging out. Yeah.
Because my mom, she's been trying to watch these too, and she didn't go to see Black Panther, and so I'm like, you should go see it. I checked it; it's still in the theater 2 days before Infinity War.
Oh.
Did I tell you how she reacted to Infinity War?
No, you didn't.
Okay, so a little bit some more spoilers here if you haven't seen it, because it's only been like a month, so a little over a month. But she's been trying to watch this and get into them and stuff like that. And I've been telling her for years about Thanos and the Infinity Gauntlet, and been laying little remarks about how horrible things are going to happen. But then it happened, obviously, and half the people die, including half the heroes. And she was so angry. She said, "I'm not watching any more MCU movies.
Oh.
I can't believe they killed Spider-Man and they killed this and that." And I said, "I've been telling you for years. I've been telling you for years. He's gonna do it. He's gonna get the gauntlet, and everybody's gonna die. Everybody's dying."
Yep. Man.
And she's like, "Well, I didn't think there was. I've been telling you."
Well, I mean, she pretty much had a personal like Thanos herald. I mean, what more can you ask for?
It was it was funny because I had to tell her, I'm like, you have to wait until, because when we were getting out of the theater, there was a huge line. Like, you have to wait. You cannot say anything until we are outside, because there are people who don't know.
Right.
And she's like, "I'm never seeing any. I can't. She's gonna watch. She's gonna watch the.
Of course she is. Of course she is.
And Wasp coming up here next month.
Ant-Man and Wasp. And see, here's the brilliance of what Marvel's done. What they've casted here. You got all these other coming movies. Ant-Man and Wasp and the others. People are gonna be looking for signs. Is this before? Is this after? How's the rest of the world faring? What else is happening? And it's the biggest hook ever into the next Avengers movie. Of course, you're gonna want to see it after something. I mean, universe shaking like that. So. Yeah.
She's like, "I just saw Black Panther, and now he's dead." I told you.
I warned you.
There's a theory right now, and I don't agree with it, but there's a theory right now that what's going to happen is all of the current heroes that didn't get dusted, they're all going to give up their life for those that were dusted. I don't think that's going to happen, though.
No, I don't either. That didn't sound plausible.
I mean, they will give Robert Downey Jr. some ridiculous contract to just make small little appearances every now and then in these movies for the next 10 years.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's going to get to the point where, like, he's Sean Connery too old to be playing Iron Man. But just the fact that it's him and he's in there for 10 minutes, 5 minutes of that is, like, actually just the Iron Man suit and CGI is going to be enough. It's going to be nuts. And we're going to get Chris Helmsworth They're going to do another Thor with him. It's been too damn popular.
Yeah, yeah.
Chris Evans, I think, might be done though. I think that might be legit.
This is it for Cap.
I think so. I
Yeah,
think this might be it for him. I think Falcon's going to take the helm.
that'd be fair.
Yeah.
So, but what a legacy though, and the fact that there's a lot of franchises that could happily just tap out, fold the book. It keeps going.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, man. Chris Evans has really come out to really. I mean, everybody points at Robert Downey Jr. and I get that, but for me, it's been Captain America, which, by the way,
Yeah,
has been a character I've never really had a lot of love for,
right.
or again, very indifferent towards him. But I mean, yeah, he's really. But that's just honestly mainly because I mean, Winter Soldier and Civil War are so freaking good.
Yeah, they're excellent,
Gosh.
and he lends so much weight to those movies and like how big they were. I just loved how much stock you could put behind both. Now, during Civil War, I'll say it straight up. I was a Team Iron Man
Yeah,
guy.
you were.
Yeah,
I was disappointed with you when you told me that.
yeah, you were, and I look at it this way, man. Look, grand sum. What did Bucky do in the end? I don't know, man. I still question if he was he worth it. I don't think.
Was he worth it?
Yeah, I don't think he was.
He was a Captain America.
Yeah, for Cap he was. For Cap he was.
Well, that was part of the whole. I mean, there was multiple. We should have this debate another day,
We
but
should.
there was multiple reasons. Obviously, for Captain, I mean, out of anything that he'd ever done, it's like no, this is Bucky. This is my guy. And
Right.
I'm going to try to save Bucky.
Right.
There were some obvious personal reasons, which kind of gets lost a little bit in the whole trilogy. With everything else, because boom, you get a dozen new superheroes in this movie, and it's basically Avengers 2.5, and
Yeah.
he does get lost in the shuffle a bit. It's I get what you're saying though, but at the same time, you really did need Winter Soldier there at the end.
He did. They needed everybody they could get.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just wondering. I mean, I don't know how far future casted he is. Yeah, once Falcon takes the helm, if he's going to start, playing a more integral role, or is he, going to be, kind of limited to certain spaces? We'll see. There's still some room for some change and evolution. I think that could sway me.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I don't know.
There's a lot of rumors out there right now about which way they're going. I mean, we don't have a lot confirmed. I'm definitely leaning on some of them where they're talking about the Black Widow movie is going to have a lot of story to tell for all of these characters, as far as the former Shield people or the former the military people and all that, the Falcon, Winter Soldier, or whatever he goes. What's he go by now?
The White Wolf.
The White Wolf,
Yeah.
obviously her and Hawkeye, and there's the rumor is there's a lot of story that's going to be told there that will lead into where things are going to go in the future.
Cool.
So,
Good deal.
anyways, this is what happens when we don't have a show notes.
Yep. See.
We're all over the
We're all
place here. So let me just knock this one out real quick, and then the rest of it's the gaming stuff.
Sure.
Or whatever you've got. The Crow has had a remake that has been trying to get off the ground for the better part of many years.
Mm-hmm.
I will just say that, but it was actually the better part of many years. Or as our president says, very long period of time. Very long period of time. So, but things were finally getting lined up. They had a release date for the remake. Director Jason Momoa's been on for the cast for a long time now. I've even seen some synopsis for characters and such, and some of the changes that they were going to make. But this last week, the director and Jason Momoa quit.
Ouch.
And I can't seem to find a definitive reason as to why, or a reason that I will be willing to say on the show is, hey, this is what happened.
Right.
Sometimes we got to make those calls, but I'm not willing to do that right now. This just happened. But yeah, this pretty much kills this movie.
Man,
Now, I take a different view on remakes than most. Generally speaking, I have no problem with remakes. This movie came out in '94, so it's pushing 25 at this point, if you can believe that. The Crow, 25 years ago.
No.
It's getting there. You said that almost defiantly. No,
No,
I'm not that
I
old.
did. I'm like, no, don't do this.
It is. It is. It came out in '94, so it's 24 this year. It obviously a big part of my childhood. I was a teenager. I mean, this movie defined the '90s in large part, and in the trends that we would see for years. But I'm okay with remakes. I don't get it when people are like, "You've ruined my childhood," or "You don't need to do it." Whatever. It's a concept. Do they do better? Do they not better? But do better. Hey, if they did better, that's awesome.
Right.
Then somebody saw something more out of this and got some more out of it. If they didn't, it's like, well, you still got the original. Who cares?
Chill out.
But I mean, that's seriously, that's my saying, because I mean, so many people just like, oh, they don't need to do it, and then like, it's disgraceful to Brandon Lee. How? They made three
I've
other
heard
Crow
that one.
movies after this one. The second one was fine. I like Crow 2. The other two are shit. I think the last two were straight to DVD, or they were on Sci-Fi or something.
Oh.
Hmm?
I said, ugh, ouch.
Yeah, they were bad. Crow 2 was fine though. I enjoyed that one. But I guess I don't get it. Why do people care?
Yeah.
Why do they get so upset about them making, doing a remake of it? I think you tend to agree with me, so I'm not going to hear a reason.
No, I mean, people say, like you said, childhood feels and stuff like that. But this is one that could, I think, stand a remake. And when I think of remakes in their totality, sometimes it's not on the heels of reviving some kind of huge franchise like what we've seen a lot lately. Sometimes it's just good because there's things that had such a huge cultural impact, but it's sort of lost on maybe a current generation as to why it was so big or why it was such a big deal.
Yeah, but they've been doing that forever. I mean, like Miracle on 34th Street, that's one of the biggest movies ever.
Yeah.
And they've remade that freaking thing. They turn out a new one of those every year or two.
Yeah, I just think, I mean, Crow's a little more weighty than that in terms of, content. It's just, it's going to be, man, it's been forever since I've seen Crow. But now, if I'm remembering that movie right, that's not something as, I don't know, say upfront as Die Hard or Die Hard with a Vengeance.
As far as up front with what?
Like, I'm not talking about just in terms of just like awesome bleeding action scenes. Like, I mean, there's a little more meat to the bones of that film.
I would say they're very upfront, gritty action in very different ways.
Right.
I mean, obviously, the Die Hards they're supposed to be high impact action in a very realistic setting.
Right.
John McClane's the everyman. The Crow's not the everyman.
No.
He's the everyman after the everyman got killed.
Yeah, then he is.
Yeah, that's John McClane after.
Oh man!
And the Crow brought John McClane back, which, by the way, in of itself is an awesome idea for a movie. If John McClane died, and then the Crow came and gave him Crow powers. I am patent pending that right now.
Man, it's like you've been reading too much Punisher
Die
War Machine
Hard
suit.
with the Crow.
Things just go good together. It's like PBJ.
That would be awesome.
I'd watch it. Shoot, man. But yeah, it just along those lines at least. It's Pro is one of those that I'd love to see a remake of. It's at least in my mind as well. It's been long enough that A, that film just isn't fresh in my mind. B, I'd love to see what we could do with that today. So.
Yeah, sure. I mean, and Jason Momoa seems like a perfectly fine fit for it. But we'll probably never see it now. When your director and your lead both ditch, yeah.
Nope.
Yeah, that's whatever. All right.
Is what it is.
All right. So that's my stuff. Outside of one piece of gaming news later on.
Turning the tables, we talk about gaming, you will get right into that piece. That is Combo Breaker 2018. Just getting back from Chicago. What a weekend. Got a chance to go with three good friends of mine, a mutual friend of ours, too, and his brother. And another good friend of mine that I hadn't seen in 17 years. Now, this is a guy that is responsible for at least 50% of the nerd I am today. So,
That's a lot of nerds.
it is. It is. Man, he got me into most of a lot of what I'm into anyway. But he started moving around. I just hadn't seen him in years. He'd been out in California for a while, and now he's out back in Nebraska. But yeah, we were all able to meet up. Now, context here. This was my first FGC event for fighting. I love fighting games. I've played them about as long as I can remember, from versus to side scrollers, whatever. But let's face it, when we're talking FGC, we're talking versus games. Coming up on the early Street Fighter Turbo and whatever else I can get my hands on. Now, I was always a console guy coming up. I didn't go in to play arcades in the arcade cabinets until I was about 5th or 6th grade or so. And about that time, those are the days of the crossovers when that started, X-Men versus Street Fighter and all those kind of games and stuff like that. So now the cool thing is when you go to events like this, you're going to have both readily available. I mean, there's going to be, I guarantee, usually somewhere in the vicinity, an arcade cabinet, something. But these are all BYOC, bring your own controller. So there's usually one console set. It was PS4 in large. I'm a pad player myself, so that made no problems bringing that along with me. Thank God, because I brought my PS4 with me and my PS2. I got a tradition with my buddy Phil that I hadn't seen in forever. Whenever we get together, we throw down on Bloody Roar. And if you don't know, if anyone listening out there does not know what Bloody Roar is, please go look that up or do yourself a favor and go sit down and play Bloody Roar 3. You'll be very happy with yourself. But don't play anything beyond that. Bloody Roar 3 is where you don't have to go any further. Don't touch 4. Don't touch Primal Fury. I'm going to shut up before I get on a rant.
Furries for fighters.
This is one I want to see a remake of. But in any case, we got in town. We got all settled. Loved. Not going to go over every detail of the trip I had. I was impressed with how cheap some of the meals were, with how much food I got for near Chicago area. But all that aside, we were there to play fighting games, and that we did. Now, a few of us had different goals. I know my friends Nate and Steve, they go to support the FGC. This was their 3rd or 4th combo breaker they'd been to. And neither of them, make plans for, I'm going to day 3. I'm, getting out of both my days of pools. I'm taking home 4th, 2nd place, whatever. No, they just, go to enjoy it. My friend Phil was a little more serious. I think he really wanted to make it out of his pool. He was doing Dragon Ball. Now, all of us did play. We all competed. We did not take spectator passes. You can do that if you want. But I opted to skip out. I did, myself, I did Tekken and Dragon Ball. And Phil did Dragon Ball, and then Nate and Steve did Street Fighter and Tekken. As far as games there, everything had a presence, from Injustice all the way down to Skullgirls to Blaze Blue to Tekken. So chances are, if you play any current fighting game, it was there. Or there was a side tournament for something that was big in the past, like Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. They had that rocking out in the side venue off of the main area where they had the smaller console tournaments going. So there were tournaments all weekend. There were events 24/7. They even had the mystery game tournament. Nate made it pretty far in that. He got in the top 16. It was a short tournament. And then they had a Mugen tournament, which was just totally wacky. And I got in on that, and that was fun. That was like about 10:30 on like Friday night or something. That was a fun one because I was on stream. Have you played Mugen? You use Mugen at all?
I've heard of it.
It's probably the only thing you can play where you'll get like Shin Akuma versus like Homer Simpson, or like RoboCop, versus.
Right. Yeah, this is all fan made stuff. That's right.
Yeah, it's the most ridiculous like mishmash of everything, and then you borrow the controls from the native game. So they were pulling like random teams together, and I really wish I ran into a Marvel vs. Capcom team that I could handle real well with Spider-Man and some others, but I didn't. I played. What was my team? It was a Mingo from MVC2. I had a couple characters from that Dragon Ball game on like Super Famicom, and then oh man, I forget the other. I think the other was like Strider or something. It was weird, really weird, but it was really funny. It was super hype. Uh, People bought in like crazy, raised a really large prize pot for that. Just something super goofy, super cool to do. So there was always something going on at this. That's one thing I loved about it. I will definitely be bringing, if I have one for next year. There will be a next year because I will be going back. I'm gonna see if I can bring a one of those like
Is it in
portable.
Chicago every year?
Yes, it's always in the
My
same
God, I
spot.
might have to join you.
Yeah, that'd be sweet, man. Come on. By then, maybe we'll be talking MK. We
We'll be
should.
talking it,
Yeah,
but I
we
don't know
bet.
if we'll be playing it.
But
I don't know. They might try to push it out before for the next combo breaker.
you know, and the cool thing about FGC events is when there's a game out there when they're pushing a release, even if it's really close to a big tournament like Evo or something, chances are you're going to see it there, and it's kind of awesome when you have something so fresh that everybody's fresh at it, and they're not familiar with all the ins and outs and all the little hidden stuff yet. So as opposed to a more established game. Now, speaking of established games, I'm going to touch on this real fast. You rightfully mentioned earlier that MK was one of the big pioneers that helped really get fighting games out of a funk, the way
Yeah.
it came. And the other side of that pioneer is Street Fighter. Street Fighter 4 was a massive release, and
Hmm.
I felt here at Combo Breaker we're still seeing the echoes from that. Street Fighter 4 brought people back to fighting games, period. Not just the Street Fighter fans, but they came back in mass. And all of them, they've all translated over to Street Fighter 5 now. Street Fighter 5 had about, I'm not having my list in front of me, but last I looked, it was around 600 entrants or so. And that still wasn't the biggest tournament of the weekend. Number one spot was Dragon Ball. That had the most entrants.
Yeah,
Uh,
that Dragon Ball game is really freaking taking off.
it's blowing up. And you know what? I'll tell you a reason why. We have a void. We have a Marvel-shaped void right now.
Yeah, yeah. No, from the list of games you're telling me that are the headliners this year, I'm sitting here thinking, God, they need some Mortal Kombat right now.
Yeah.
They really. What's this? Ugh, all these fight. I mean, it's gonna be awesome, and Mortal Kombat's gonna come out. Soul Calibur's gonna come out, and
Yep.
yeah, the headliners right now are kind of disappointing.
Yeah. But
Anyways,
watching Injustice was pretty awesome. You gotta forgive me. I do not remember the winning team on that because I didn't really even get to watch the pool play that. The sitting in on a grand finals live was amazing. It's something I've always said I wanted to do, short of like going to an Evo or something. But this is about as close as you're gonna get. I mean, besides Evo itself, you have this. You have CEO. Which are, I think, two of the last really huge majors before Evo itself actually drops. And the wild thing is that Combo Breaker this year got a lot of international attention. Now, that's kind of uncommon because in previous years, the Japanese, Korean teams, and others didn't always travel. But they were here in force. Any of the big names you've seen, from Justin Wong to Infiltration to Knee, off Tekken and JDCR, all of them made appearances, and that was pretty cool. So, I think the closest I got to playing anyone of note, Sonic Fox was in my pool for Dragon Ball, so it was kind of funny having him right across as or having him like sit behind you when he's waiting to play winner. That
oh, look
matchup,
at
so.
you getting all Star Trek over your gamers.
Oh, he's so cute, so cute. But no, everyone's
Oh
making
my
the
God.
everyone's making the joke. What's how much is Sonic Fox going to take home? And a lot of people were betting he was going to place, at least place, but was likely going to get first in a lot of events. But he had a huge second place sweep. I know he was second, second MK, I think second Injustice, second Skullgirls, and a few others. I know the only one he won Dragon Ball. I remember that was the last grand final. He won the whole thing, but lots of names. The cool part about this too is the tournament seeding. No preferential seeding or anything like that. Combo Breaker follows a really cool catchphrase, good moxie of "No coast, no kings." That's if you go out far the West Coast or East Coast to play, some of the seeding will land a little different because of people who either ranked up or stuff. That doesn't exist there. You play through your pool. If you don't survive it, tough luck.
Isn't that cool? Because that's how we used to do things.
Yeah,
Even though like our events that we held were, I mean, ridiculous in scope in comparison.
Yeah.
But yeah, we had the same mentality.
Yeah. And I couldn't agree anymore. It doesn't matter what you did before, how big you ranked out, where you're at. Just sit down and play.
Yeah, don't bring that stuff over to Chicago. You don't care about that.
Oh man, the funniest part is helping my friend Bill get out of a funk. I think, was really really focused on trying to get out of his pools, and he got slammed in a really early match, like in Dragon Ball. Somebody that was real solid, but he was kind of salty about that. We went aside, and I was just telling him all weekend. I said, dude, look, people are gonna get perfected. I mean, people are going to get bodied. That's part of this. And, like, we sit down and watch Street Fighter V Grand Finals, watch an infiltration, trade sets. He kicks off, gets perfected. Second round, he perfects his opponent. I mean, these blow-ups happen. And it reminded me of why I love fighting games so much. It's speed chess. Best way I can describe it. There are, this from playing MK. I mean, while that's definitely a heavier combo game, there's so many decisions you will be making in such a fraction of the time you would in other games, and things happening dynamic and just on your toes. I love that. Love that. Part of it's finding a character you like. Part of it is getting said character down, mastering that, knowing your links, your combos, your strings, not to drop those, and then matchup knowledge. I could go on and on about all the factors that play in, but all of this stuff comes together, and to see that well executed is just, it's awesome. It's one thing when you get to sit in on a stream or something each year, but yeah, it's another actually being there. So all in all, I want to make this high on my list, right up there with PAX as far as a must attend for each year. I do plan on going back. I am going to have to think about what I want to push, though, as far as go crazy practicing, get out of your pools. Part of it's going to depend what games are actually being played and all that, but
dude,
yeah,
you and I, we've got to just keep practicing Soul Calibur 6 when it comes on. Just trash everybody. Just trash them. Me with Taki and you with whoever the fuck you pick.
Probably Siegfried.
There you go.
I think I'm trying to remember who plays Soul Cal. I know that there's a group of some of the Tekken community that's really into that. I know like Eris and a few of them, but I'm not too sure who all would go over. But hey, Soul Cal's looking big. I mentioned this early in the show that this was pretty much a PS4 event, and here's Soul Calibur over here with its play stands and Xbox only. So
that's all right. That's okay. Microsoft paid for that, but it won't help them. It won't help. No,
it won't. It won't.
I'm a little surprised Microsoft would do that. I mean, it's been a while, yes, but I mean, when you think of the home for Soul Calibur, you think PlayStation. You really do. If you've been around long enough.
Yes, you do. Absolutely. So, and if you play at an arcade stick, that didn't matter at all. You just sat down and plopped down. There was one other pretty cool moment from Weekend Over Street Fighter. And this was with Cleric. Actually, I had stepped out. I went across to the free play hall, and there was this little girl who'd sat down on to do some Street Fighter V at the Astro booth. By the way, Astro had some sick setups for like tournament ready headphones and all that. So I'm fine on my headphones and all that. I probably would have bought some if I didn't have something already. But anyway,
wait a second. They had headphones that you could use.
Yeah.
And did you put them on?
Yeah.
That's disgusting. That's disgusting. I'm not a germaphobe.
Hey! I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking, and I was thinking that too. But in all fairness, I did that as doors opened, day one, and did not again.
Okay, because that's gross.
Yep. I know exactly where you're going with that.
8 hours in.
Yeah. No. That's not happening.
I mean, look. A lot of gamers aren't the cleanest people.
No.
All right, and that's fine. You do you do you, but you don't do you when you're wearing public headphones. then you're doing them too, and that's gross. All right, that's all I'm gonna say.
So good. So Steve was at the Astro booth, and this little girl was trying to run. She's about, I guess, 11 or 12, and she was trying to get some SF5 in. She wanted to get into the game and see what it was about. Nobody would play with her. They were like,
Oh, what the fuck?
everybody's like, shove off, whatever. I'm just, looking to do my thing or get my sets, and I got to prepare for my pool, whatever. That was always a funny mix. You either ran into somebody chill who just throw down with some free play or share some knowledge with you, or people that would just flip you off. But anyway, um, she couldn't get any games in, and Steve ended up coming by, and he just asked her like, "Hey, what's up? You looking in to get into this?" She's like, "Yeah." So he sat down and just kind of ran her through some of the basics, and when they were done, the Astro team gave her a free tournament ready, brand spanking new noise canceling headset. And Steve was about to leave. They stopped him and said, "Hold on, wait a minute." And he said, "Thanks for teaching the next generation, or at least giving them a running chance." And then they gave him a free headset.
Ah.
So that I thought that was pretty clutch.
Yeah, sure.
Good on them, but cool to get a sick freebie like that. But they had cool giveaways. I mean, all weekend. The only thing I missed, I really wanted to pick up a portable monitor setup, but they weren't selling it. But amazing event through and through. Any persuasion fighting game you're into is there, man. And I am sure next time Soul Calibur is going to be everywhere. So
okay, so my usual questions: best cosplay of the event.
Best cosplay. The one that made me smile coming in, there was a good Hobo Ryu, but that wasn't the best. It just made me smile. I'd say
What are you clicking?
my mouse.
Okay.
Click, 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 click.
Settle down.
I can't help it. I'm just so excited.
You were very excited about your gaming stuff. No, okay, I'm sorry. Cosplay.
No. As far as best, man, here's the thing: the cosplays were they were sectioned off in a certain area.
They wrangled them up and put them in.
Yeah, they put them in cages.
Put them over there.
Most of them were.
This isn't a con.
What are you doing? Get over there. No, they were. Most of them were over in like the ballroom area. So I didn't get to run across too many, but the ones I did were cool. There was I gotta say, as far as ornate, there were some really good Blaze Blue cosplays that I have to give to any one of them. They rocked. So.
All right. So now this wasn't a con. So was there even swag, and what'd you get?
Swag, not a whole lot. You had if you went by Capcom, you got a free Chun-Li poster. Yeah. Yeah, right.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah, I didn't.
Is it a very promiscuous Chun-Li poster?
Yeah, it's Chun-Li in her normal outfit.
Oh,
I mean, she's not doing like super kick or whatever, but she's just sitting there. It's just like Street Fighter, 30th anniversary. It's just Chun-Li like kneeling there. So,
sure, why not?
Yeah, why not? But as far as other free swag, really, it was the only place I think that was actually giving out anything to note was the Skullgirls booth. They had a mobile version of it coming out, and if you managed to beat a couple of rounds, they gave you a free character that you could only get there at Combo Breaker and some other cool little swag stuff. But that was that was pretty awesome. But
that is pretty cool.
Yeah, as far as just stuff to grab, that was about it, dude. Wasn't a whole lot swag wise. Then there were a lot of stuff in like Artist Alley and things like that, and then a lot of people doing like those like perler sprites. Those I don't know if you've seen those perler bead things. Yeah, it's like they're about I don't know, maybe 3-4 inches tall, and they're usually shaped after like an 8 or 16-bit sprite. They're pretty cool, but that's the thing. But not as much swag, but that's okay because I felt the swag.
No, it's not a con, so you can't expect that.
And you got the most out of course, just sitting down playing fighting games all weekend. I mean, how awesome is that? The one other cool stop I did get to make, I got to go to Galloping Ghost arcade out near the Burbs. Now that was a treat. They have basically a block of space that's nothing but arcades back as far as the eye can see. and not just current stuff, like you name it. I saw some stuff, man, I'd never seen. Like a Castlevania game where instead of a gun con, you have like a Castlevania whip, and you run around and use that. I didn't know that was a thing. They had
Huh.
Japanese arcade cabinets, all the original Gradius games, every SNK game you could think of, all the side-scrolling beat 'em ups. I don't know where to start. If you've been to an arcade at any point, it was probably there. Like, and I still didn't get around to everything, but that was how we ended. What was it? I think it was Friday. Yeah, Friday night. So couldn't ask for more than that. But amazing time. I'd recommend it to anybody. And heck, even if you're going, you know what? If you're like me and felt that you weren't still like, super prepped, I'm ready for everything. That's all right. You will go there and you will pick up stuff for some of your favorite games that you didn't even know you could learn. So worth it. Worth it, worth it, worth it. Loved it.
All right. All right. So, yeah. What else you got?
You're like, yes, I want more. Well, for one thing, I'll see you next time for Soul Calibur.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I want a release date for that already.
yeah.
Because I have a feeling it's going to come out like next month. Because that's a summer game.
Yeah, it is.
And I've got a feeling they're going to announce it. It's going to be like, it's coming out in 2 weeks. Like, yeah, God. I got to budget this stuff, man. Not just money, but time. I got to budget it.
Oh,
Can't
man.
just sit down and play a game.
It's a series of tubes.
It is.
So,
Well, it doesn't sound like you got any more news, so I still got some news.
oh, you still got no? Do your next thing.
All right. So, this has been the ongoing story ever since we started the Jagged Edge, and so we've talked a lot about the NES and the SNES and how impossible it is to get your hands on an NES Mini, but Nintendo is re-releasing the NES Mini.
Bum bum bum.
Yeah, yes. Very exciting. June 29th. June 29th. So just a couple
Cool.
weeks away.
Cool.
They're going to be re-releasing it. So we get another chance.
Well, that'll be a birthday present to myself.
I'm getting one this time.
There we go.
I don't care. I don't care. I'll fight people. I'm going to show up to stores with my Soul Calibur sword. I'm gonna fight people.
You just see you walk that one on the shoulder. Ring out. Ring out.
That's right. They go out of the ring, and as they go, they drop the NES Mini, and I grab it. No, I'm very excited to get another chance to get this thing because they had pretty much disappeared.
Yeah.
And so we're getting another go at it here, and I really do want one. I will not pay more than retail because that's stupid. So, well, no, you know what? No, that's not fair because for those who really want it, if you really want it, then, whatever you're paying, capitalism, right? It is what it is. I will not pay more than retail, though.
Yeah.
I just won't because I'll just emulate this shit otherwise.
Right.
So if I can't get it this time, then that's probably exactly what I'll do. Yeah, looking forward to it. I really want one. So
there you go, man.
yeah, a re-release for that. So we'll see. We'll see. Will the after almost a year and a half now, will I finally get one?
I think come on, man. You've
We've been talking about this since episode 1.
Yes, yeah. I think you got it in the bag. I don't want to jinx you.
We'll see.
So.
We'll see. Is it because I said I'll fight people this time?
Yeah.
All right.
I think so.
I mean it. I means it. When they came out, I was recuperating from pretty serious surgery.
Yeah.
I really didn't have any choice. There was nothing I could do. That is not the case this time. I'm all over it now.
Sweet Vince.
Right. So, We'll see.
Good stuff, man. Good stuff.
All
Yeah.
right. So, I'm sorry. Go
No,
ahead.
I was more a guy in the SNES Mini.
Yeah.
Um, you know, but to get an artifact like this, man, I'll make an exception. It'll be worth it. This will be a few days. 29th, yeah, it won't be too long after my birthday, so I'll just set some aside for it. See if I can get it.
You're just like gonna trip over one. I've been wanting one for so long, and I bet you I'm gonna try so hard and I won't get one. And you're just gonna be at the store one day, and you're gonna almost trip over a freaking NES Mini that's on the floor, and you're gonna get it. That's how it's gonna go.
Like, oh, look at that, man. Good stuff.
All right, so is that it? Are we up to the info minute time?
I think it is time for an info minute. All right. This is all about rural living. And I mean
rural
living. See, it's even annoying saying that.
Rural.
Hey.
That is one of those words, if you just say it, it's okay, but if you try to say it, it gets worse. Rural living versus rural. I'm sorry, everybody.
Rutro Raggy Ruby Marshmallows. Right.
I'm retarded. I don't know what to tell you.
So it turns out that a lot of these spots, look, rural areas really, really want you to live there. You're in the U.S. I mean, they really want you to, especially Vermont. Turns out Vermont is actually paying people $10,000 just to move to the state of Vermont and to work there, even if it's remotely. They are now running a program. This just got signed in legislation this past Wednesday. Any eligible workers can get up to $5,000 a year. That won't exceed $10,000 over 2 years through the state's new, brand spanking new remote worker grant program. It turns out this so the money can be used on any of your qualified expenses like relocation, necessary computer equipment, anything you're actually going to need for work, internet access, memberships, whatever it is. But this isn't the only place. This is actually I'm highlighting this. There's a few other states that are really starting to put some initiatives out because the populations are just dwindling so badly. I know. Besides this one, Kansas even has a deal going to help people pay off their student loans. Also increasing pay and changing payroll practices, and also for helping people with tax benefits and things like that. So there's a lot of initiatives out there, and if you're thinking about moving, if you just want some kind of random incentive, this could be it. Now,
$10,000.
Would you do it?
Well, it depends on the job.
Yeah.
I'm actually in a position where I can relocate, so it really would depend on the job. So I could do it.
Right.
I would consider it. Vermont, yeah. What was the other one? Kansas?
Yep.
It was Kansas.
Yeah.
No. I've been through Kansas a couple times. I wasn't a big fan.
Oh man. But this is something that's probably gonna be out the door pretty quick.
Take no offense to that. What would you call them? Kansians, I believe.
The Kansians, you know what?
I
don't know.
Please don't take offense to that. If you love your state, then love your state. So, what can I say? I mean, I've driven through there, spent a little bit of time there, stopped, saw the area a little bit. I just, whatever.
A couple last notes about especially the Vermont program, and I'm sure this applies to some of the others, but if you're going to be eligible, you got to be a full-time employee for an out-of-state business, work primarily from home, or you're on a co-working space in Vermont, and become a full-time resident on or after January 1st, 2019. If you want this, hey, hop on it. This is pretty much first come, first serve, and there's going to be annual limits to the grants that are going to be handed out. This isn't something indefinite. So if you're in the search, there you go.
I am going to keep that in mind.
Feather in your hat.
What the hell was that?
I did that in the dumbest voice I could.
Yeah, you threw Goofy in there at the end.
Yeah. But that's all I got, man.
All right, that's going to do it for us. Let us know what you think about what you've heard on this show this week. Please comment below, subscribe, and like all the stuff that we need to keep us going. Or to get us started, I guess, would be the better way to put
Yeah,
it.
that's a better way to say
But,
it.
yeah, so that's it for this week, I guess. So, all right, hit stop. Go listen to something else now.
We will catch up with you again soon. Of course, tune in for our E3 coverage and our ongoing show coverage. Legion is about to wrap up. Cloak and Dagger is about to get started. Chris just announced that, told me he's going to be sitting in on that one with me.
I'm going to join you for
out.
at least the premiere. At least the premiere. I'm still hearing good things. I'm hearing that the show is shocking people at how good it is considering its platform. So we will see in just a couple days.
All right. You heard it here first. Thanks for tuning in, people. Take it easy. Have a good one. Hey, people. Thank you for tuning into this episode and taking a listen. If you like our content, if you like what you're listening to, there anything we go over, hey, please, we would not only love to hear more from you, but if great if you could throw some support. You can subscribe right below. Also, you can toss us a line anytime. That's ksongmedia@gmail.com. Of course, you can tune in for our channel anytime for movie reviews, game reviews, a lot of random wacky stuff. Who knows what you'll hear. And of course, our episode each week where we're bringing the nerdiest things we can find, dig up, and maybe not find. Maybe the stuff that just drops in our laps. But anyway, hey, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for listening. We hope to hear from you again later. Take care.